Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is our son, Avery. He is in his usual milk-induced coma. So he's getting some Z's and he's getting a little daylight. And I just wanted to make a video about my labor experience with him because I am a first-time mom and I'm whispering just because I don't really want to wake him up. He's so cute and he's sleeping and I'm so proud that he's here. I'm so happy. But I just wanted to make a video about my labor experience because I'm a first-time mom and I was absolutely terrified. I'd heard so many horror stories about how bad it was going to hurt and how horrible it was going to feel. And I'm here to say that not every story is horrific because mine was not. It was actually built up way worse in my head than it was in real life. So I'm going to start by telling you what the plan was. Well, first, let me start at the very beginning. So towards the end of your pregnancy, the doctors want you to come in for a weekly visit just to make sure that everything is okay. Don't skip out on those visits. I know sometimes they can be a little bit daunting because you might have other things to do and you feel like, well, I just saw the doctor last week. Nothing has probably changed. Let me just cancel it. Whatever you do, don't cancel it, because that was a lesson that I learned. I had an appointment on Friday and then I had another appointment on Monday. And so I was thinking about canceling my Monday appointment because I'd just seen the doctor on Friday. But it worked out. This is where I say God is good. So it worked out to where they didn't have any other openings later on in the week. And it's for a very good reason, because when I went on Monday, which was my 38th week, they told me that my blood pressure was too high and that I needed to be induced. And when she told me that I needed to be induced, I felt like I had an outer body experience, because in my mind I'm thinking, well, I've got 2 more weeks. I kept thinking, oh, he's going to come in 2 weeks. But then when she told me, oh, no, you're going to be induced tonight, most likely, I just kind of felt like, oh my God, like this is really happening right now. Can't believe it. But she said she wanted to send me to the hospital to do some additional tests. And she said there was a possibility that everything would come back fine and that it was just whatever and that they might send me home. But if not, then they would be inducing me. So me and my boyfriend, we went to the hospital that night and they ran their tests and they said, yes, your blood pressure is high. And because you're 38 weeks, Avery is full term. So just for safety reasons, they said the best thing to do would be to go on and give birth. So we would like to induce you. So they explained to me the plan of how they were going to do it, which totally freaked me out because I was already nervous about vaginal delivery in the first place. My entire pregnancy, I kept thinking, C-section sounds so much better. They numb you up and they just, cut you, which sounded a lot better than just pushing, pushing, pushing and screaming. And I'd actually asked a few times, like, can't they just do a C-section? They were like, no, it's healthier for you and the baby if you just push, because it takes you longer to heal after a C-section, and also because it might affect if you wanted to have children in the future. It might make it a little harder, to have children in the future. So they said it's healthier if you just have a vaginal delivery. So I said, okay, fine. But I was still terrified. So they were like, okay, she said, we're going to insert a balloon into your uterus. We're going to thread it into your cervix, which to me sounded so terrible and so nasty. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to suck. And then she said, we're going to put a pill in your cervix as well to help loosen it up, to soften it up. So I said, okay, how bad is that going to hurt? And they were telling me that, well, it's not going to be comfortable, but if you want, we can give you nitrous gas while we're inserting the balloon in the pill. And I remembered trying nitrous gas when I was at the dentist, and I didn't really like it as much. It kind of just made me feel really weird and put more anxiety on top of what was already happening. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna, I'd rather just be lucid for this part, for the insertion of the balloon. So no nitrous gas. And they told me that what they were going to do was also put a catheter in my uterus, which was also going to help open it up. The whole point was to have the balloon physically opening up my cervix, and then the pill was to be softening it at the same time. And the catheter was also supposed to be helping to open it up. And they said usually the pill and the balloon, they work very well together. And they said once I hit 4 centimeters, then the balloon should either come out or they'll be able to take the balloon out. Then after that, they were saying that they were going to put another pill in my cervix to make contractions start. So I said, okay. And also the pill that they put in my cervix in the first place to help loosen it up, they said that throughout the night, like every couple of hours or something, they were going to come in and give me the same pill, but not vaginally, but in my mouth, crushed up, and let it dissolve. So that their plan was by the next night at the earliest, Avery would be delivered. But things ended up going a little bit smoother than they expected. So I was lucid for when they put in the balloon and when they put in the pill. I thought it was going to hurt like crazy, but it actually just ended up feeling like a regular pap smear, like the same discomfort. And it was over in like just a couple of minutes. They actually said that I did very well for someone that was so worried about how bad it was going to feel. So once they got that in there and they got the catheter in there, so I had the balloon, the pill, and the catheter in me, then they said, okay, we're going to let you order something off the menu from the cafeteria so you can have a really good meal. And then we're going to give you a sleeping pill. And I told them, I really didn't think that I needed a sleeping pill because I thought that I was going to be able to sleep, on my own. But they said, no, we think that, you really should have the pill because it's really going to help you sleep. They said it was called Ambien. So I said, okay, that's fine. So I ordered something to eat. I ate, and then they gave me the Ambien crushed up. And at first I didn't feel anything. I thought, oh, this is probably not going to make me sleep anyway. But after a while, I ended up dozing off. And I'm not going to lie, the Ambien actually made me high as a kite. And I'm actually pretty glad that they gave it to me because throughout the whole thing, it made me less like anxious about everything. It was like I was there, but I wasn't there. I could feel, but I couldn't, I wasn't fully like, I wasn't feeling enough to freak out, but I could feel. I was just taking everything for what it was. So I went to sleep after they gave me the Ambien. And I remember waking up, and I believe the woman was taking the balloon out, and it kind of felt like she snatched it a little bit. My boyfriend said she didn't, but I guess, I don't know, that did kind of hurt a little bit when she took it out, but it was just like ripping a Band-Aid off. So she took that out, and I believe she said that I was 4 centimeters dilated at that point. I went back to sleep, and then when I woke up again, I remember I had this intense pain in my uterus. Well, it wasn't really pain, it was more like pressure. It hurt, but it was more pressure than pain. It wasn't anything sharp or anything like that. The best way that I could describe it would be, it felt like there was a balloon in my abdomen, and every time I would have a contraction, the balloon would puff up. Like it would totally inflate to the max. And I would feel all this pressure, and it would get really tight, and I would kind of flinch up, and they kept telling me, breathe through it, breathe through it, breathe through it. And then it would feel like the balloon was deflating, and it would go down, and all the pressure would start to subside, and that would be my contractions. But it had started happening so often that it was waking me up, and that's when I told my boyfriend to please get the doctor because I felt like I was ready for an epidural. So they checked me, and they said that at that point I was 5 centimeters dilated and that they would do the epidural. And I kind of felt like I was, because of the Ambien, I was in and out, constantly in and out. And I remember him trying to explain to me how he was going to do it, but I just really, I don't remember any of that. I remember someone saying something to me, telling me to prop up on the side of the bed and hold on to a pillow. My boyfriend said it seemed like it took them forever to get the epidural in me. He said it seemed like it was like 20 minutes. I don't really remember. I just remember kind of clutching the pillow and grabbing my boyfriend's hand because every time a contraction would hit, it would be so much pressure. But I remember them putting the needle in my back. And then I laid back down in the bed, and the doctor said that I wouldn't be able to walk around now that the epidural was in, and that he needed to put in a catheter. That part I don't remember at all, him putting in a catheter. I just remember him saying that he needed to put in a catheter. So while he was doing that, I was asleep again, thank God. And then the next morning, I woke up and I believe I felt something pop, not painfully, just like a little pop in my abdomen. And the nurse was in there checking on me at the moment, and I asked her, I said, "What's that?" And she checked me and she said, "Oh, well, your water just broke." And she said that I was fully dilated and that it was time for me to push at that point. But my boyfriend had gone home to walk our dog. And so I got on the phone and I called him and I told him, "I'm fully dilated. It's time for me to push. We're just going to wait for you to get back." And he said it's funny because before I called, he had gotten this feeling that came over him that said that he needed to come back. And so he was literally running across the parking lot. He said like it was some kind of a love story movie or something. And he had jumped over the bushes and he was like trying to get to the elevator. And he said the people in the lobby were kind of looking at him like he was crazy because he kept like hitting the button to get on the elevator. And he got back to the room, and then it was time to push. And again, the experience was not at all what I expected. I was so sleepy and high still from like the Ambien that I remember the nurse telling me, "Okay, you're gonna have to push for 10 seconds every contraction. I'm gonna count it out for you." She was like, "I want you to tuck your chin down and I want you to just give it all you got and just push." So I thought that I was going to be screaming bloody murder at this point. Everything that I had seen like on YouTube and just, in movies, I thought I was going to be like, oh my God, I'm dying. Get him out of me. Ah, ha, ha, like stuff like that. But it wasn't like that at all. I wasn't screaming. I didn't feel any pain. The epidural was awesome. I just pushed for 10 seconds when she told me to, and she would do it for like 3 times. She would count to 10, having me push, and then she would give me a little break, until the next contraction came, and then she would, once again tell me to push, 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 push. And in 30 minutes, after 30 minutes of pushing, he was out, which they said that was very fast, but he was healthy. Avery was here. Everything was good in total. It took me 12 hours of labor, they said, 30 minutes of pushing. And they said that my tearing, which sounded really bad when I heard other women talking about it, but they said that my tearing was actually very minimal. They said that it was like 2nd-degree tearing. And again, I didn't really feel it anyway because I had the epidural and I was pretty numb down there. So after I had Avery, then they pressed on my stomach and I think the placenta came out and they were trying to get the blood out. Again, that didn't, I thought that was going to be bad too because my mom had actually told me that it was kind of rough. The nurse was rough with her when she had me, where he kept pushing on her stomach like way too hard. But, it actually was just fine. They just pressed and got the blood out, and then she sewed me up. Again, that didn't hurt. She put the stitches in. They told me that the stitches would dissolve on their own. And it took a while for the Ambien to kind of wear off, but I did hold Avery in my arms. And they took some pictures. My boyfriend cut the cord and everything was good. I think probably it was just built up a lot worse in my mind. And especially if I listen to other ladies' stories about labor. A lot of them said that it hurt so bad and it was, you know, crazy and everything, but I can honestly say that mine really was not that bad. They gave me that sleeping pill, which totally helped me relax. The epidural was awesome. It numbed me up. They didn't have to, my water broke on its own. They didn't have to give me the pill to make my contractions start. And he came pretty quickly, only 30 minutes of pushing. So if you're afraid, don't be. Not every story is as bad as all that. Not taking away from any woman that did have a rough, you know, labor. Every woman is different, but I'm just saying if, you know, this is your first time or if you're nervous, I wouldn't, you know, a lot of the times that I spent worrying, if I had known that it was going to be what it was from my experience, I wouldn't have wasted time worrying about it as much as I did throughout my pregnancy. So I am very grateful to God. I feel very blessed. I'm glad that I did not cancel my appointment when I went in for my 38th week, because if I had canceled it, then my blood pressure would have been high and they wouldn't have known it, and they would not have taken the steps that they did to induce labor when they did. And another sign that maybe my blood pressure was high was that my ankles and my feet were very swollen. I'm just grateful for everything and that he's here now. And he was born on February the 4th. So today he's about 2 weeks and 4 days old. I think he's a beautiful, beautiful baby. I'm so proud of him. He weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces, and he was born at 8:55 in the morning. And I love him so, so much. I think this was an incredible experience, and your experience will be incredible too. Don't worry about the labor. Don't be afraid. Everything is going to be just fine. And God bless you and your family. And this is an amazing time for you, as it's an amazing time for me. So I just wanted to put that message out there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Say bye, Avery. Say bye, baby. He's like, leave me alone. I'm taking my nap. Thanks, guys, so much for watching my video. See you next time.